I'm Dakota from Bakscape, and we're on set today with Dr. Massie, who's here to bust some major myths. First and foremost, I want to know what actually qualifies you to answer these myths.
I'm Dr. Michael Massie. I've worked in skin for 10 years and I own and operate a skin clinic.
One of the most common questions that we get about body hair is, if you shave it, will it actually grow back thicker?
So that's actually a myth. People feel like it might seem that way. They grow back the same size, but because it's a blunt tip from shaving, it might feel coarser and look thicker because it's at the base of the hair follicle. But once it fully grows back out, it'll be the same size as it was before.
We're talking gray hair. So should our customers be plucking out their gray hairs to get rid of them?
So it's another myth that if you pluck gray hairs, you'll get more gray hairs because of it. Gray hairs come because the pigment making cells they decrease with age where our hairs are. So you can pluck them all you want, but they will come back in the same numbers and then slowly progress as we all gain experience in life.
Ugh. So the only method is to really dye it.
There's new technologies coming out there. They're using things like exosomes, where actually sometimes it's showing, they're using it for hair growth, but it's also stimulating some of the pigment producing cells to act too. So it has worked in some cases. So there's things on the horizon.
Interesting. So Bakscape is a shaving product, and we get questions about ingrown hairs all the time. And the biggest myth, I think, is that shaving actually causes them.
So it's partly a myth in that you can shave without getting them, but shaving can be a cause to ingrown hairs as well if it's done improperly and if the skin is not taken care of right. So doing the right things to pre-treat your skin before shaving and afterwards, also making sure that you're using a device that shaves well with few passes, limits inflammation, that can actually make it that the ingrown hairs don't happen. Ingrown hairs are when the hair actually just starts to bend back inwards when it's kind of cut in a way that lets that happen. So if you do shaving right, it shouldn't.
So let's say you have an ingrown hair. We want to know if we actually need to scoop that hair out to get rid of it, or what is the truth here? Because that's the myth that I've heard.
So I hear this one all the time, that people think that they have to dig out the ingrown hair to resolve it. If something is showing and you can easily pluck, that's fine. But if you don't see it, you don't want to be going on a fishing experiment trying to find the root of the hair. Warm compresses, exfoliation, your body's been doing this a long time, it'll work itself out with those things. And if that's not working, see a medical doctor.
Bakscape is a male grooming tool. We get this feedback all the time. People think that only women should shave their bodies. Is that true?
I mean, it's a personal choice, really, if you ask me. I don't really have like a medical advice on this, but if it makes you happy to shave your back as a man, I don't see why you wouldn't. We have lots of patients who come in and do laser hair removal as men, lots of patients who have all kinds of issues with hair removal systems that they've used before. It's a very common thing to do, and it's not wrong if it's what you want.
I have heard that simple blades are the best in comparison to something like Bakscape that offers a rotary head system.
So, I mean, I might beg to differ on that. I do actually think that the rotary head system is great with Bakscape because what it'll do, it'll make it go in less passes. Sometimes if you're using a simple blade, it takes repeated passes with more irritation, higher chances of ingrown hairs, more chances to nick things and have cuts and scrapes. Whereas with this, you get a close shave without it.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Massie. I really appreciate you answering these questions for us.
Glad I could show you my qualifications weren't a myth.